The Grau has been out for about a week now, and after looking at it in depth, we've noticed quite a few things. It's pretty solid and versatile, and you could use it as your only weapon this season. First off, the Grau is a superb SMG. You heard that right? And we can say that because it passes as one. Here's the SMG type build that we use on the Grau, and its stats are very impressive when it's supposed to be an AR. It may not be close to true SMGs like the QQ9 or the Fennec, but it is super close to the CBR4 in terms of stats. The BSA is the same, they have almost similar hipfire spread, and they are close when it comes to flinch. The recoil pattern for both, super easy to control. Let's go over the differences. Mobility, strafe speed, and walk speed are pretty much the same, but looking at the strafe speed, the CBR4 has a slight advantage. The CBR4 also beats Grau in reload times as it's a key stat when you plan on playing aggressive, and the Grau is somehow bugged because you can't reload cancel. So while the CBR4 can reload in about 1.5 seconds, the Grau can only reload in about 1.7 seconds, which may seem to be not much of a difference, but you'll feel the difference a lot in game. If we go into time to kill stats, CBR4 tops the Grau due to the latter's slower fire rate. You get a 7 millisecond difference for each shot, so when the CBR4 kills in 4 shots with 225 milliseconds, the Grau will kill 21 milliseconds slower with 246 milliseconds, which can make the difference in a gunfight. And as you know, faster fire rate means it'll be easier to use, especially in close range fights. But the Grau also has advantages over the CBR4. It has 10 more bullets per mag with a total of 60, which is more than enough to kill 4 enemies in 1 mag and possibly more. Grau also has a better sprint to fire and a better ADS time, which kinda helps to compensate for the TTK difference in gunfights where none of the players were already ADS'd. Speaking of time to kill, we talked about the same shot to kill values earlier, but the Grau can actually 3-shot in close range if you're able to hit 2 headshots, and it has 16 meters of consistent 4-shot kill compared to CBR4's 13 meters, and after that it gets worse and worse for the CBR4, but Grau has the capacity to 5-shot up to 35 meters, and the CBR4 can only do up to 19 meters. Now I wouldn't say that the Grau is better than the CBR4, especially due to the strafe difference and the time to kill difference without headshots in close range, but it is a solid contender. What if you wanted to use the Grau for what it's supposed to be? A flex AR, which is what the Peacekeeper or the M13 is. Well, you'll be surprised by its performance. For simplicity, we'll compare it against the Peacekeeper. Using this build for the Grau and this build for the Peacekeeper, what does it give us? They almost have the same fire rate, so we won't see much of a difference in time to kill for the same shot to kill value, except for when we hit headshots with the Grau, which happens quite a lot thanks to its easy to control recoil. When it comes to recoil, Grau beats the Peacekeeper just looking at the patterns, but on the flinch side, PK destroys the Grau. On the BSA side, Peacekeeper also beats the Grau with a solid 17 versus 19 for the Grau, 17 being approximately the maximum value we want for ARs. So on that part, Grau seems to be a bit off, but actually the taper or lowest BSA at the beginning of the spray is pretty low, which makes it alright for a short spray at long range, but for longer sprays, it'll be too inaccurate. We also find the Grau iron sight without barrel way better than what we have on a free-to-play Peacekeeper. In terms of overall mobility such as movement speed in general, ADS time, and sprint to fire time, they are pretty much even, or the slight differences are not big enough to be that noticeable. The Peacekeeper though has the best reload time with only 0.8 seconds versus the 1.7 seconds, which is great for playing aggressive, but the Grau has 20 more bullets for, as I already said, the same fire rate, which also makes a huge difference when engaging multiple players at a time. Now the part where the Grau absolutely smashes the Peacekeeper is the range. Both have 20 meters of 4-shot kill, but the Grau can get a 3-shot kill if you're able to hit headshots. Then the Grau has 44 meters of 5-shot kill, with a 4-shot potential up to 31 meters, which is an absurd for a flex weapon, while the Peacekeeper only has 34.5 meters of 5-shot kill range, but with a slightly better 4-shot potential than the Grau. So is the Grau better than Peacekeeper for a flex playstyle? Yes. Not by far, but it is still a yes. From 0 to 20 meters, it clearly dominates the Peacekeeper. From 20 to 31 meters, it's pretty close, but the Grau is easier to take advantage of thanks to a better recoil pattern. From 31 to 35 meters, the Peacekeeper beats it easily in terms of potential time to kill, and after that, Grau is just way better thanks to its TTK and recoil pattern. Now what if you want to play the Grau as a passive weapon? The closest weapon in terms of stats we can find to compare it to this build is the Kilo with this one. I know the Kilo isn't a super passive weapon, but that's the closest thing we can get because the Grau has its own limits in terms of gunsmithing. BSA, flinch, and hipfire BSA are approximately the same for these two. Kilo has 33 meters of 4 shots to kill, when the Grau has 25 meters, which is enough of a difference to say that the Kilo is better here. Then, both have about 55 meters of 5-shot kills, but the Grau actually has a slightly better time to kill thanks to a slightly faster fire rate. Both have more than enough bullets for playing passive, with 50 for the Kilo and 60 for the Grau. However, the Grau loses in terms of mobility. When the Kilo can be sort of versatile, the Grau just can't with a poor 2.9 meters per second of strafe compared to Kilo's 3.5 meters per second. The ADS speed is slower by 40 milliseconds, which is a huge difference even if in general for passive weapons you'll be ADS'd already most of the time. What the Grau has that beats the Kilo though is a way lower recoil, a super clean iron sight thanks to the Nexus, or Archangel if you want to use it, barrel, which makes it a perfect weapon for free-to-play players out there. Now you might be thinking, why have I mentioned all these stats and talked about the Grau for 3 playstyles? It's actually pretty simple. As we always said, when you're playing ranked, try to choose 2 to 4 weapons and stick with them. That way you'll be comfortable with your guns and you won't be learning how to use a new weapon constantly, trying to use so many different weapons. The Grau might be the perfect weapon to main right now because you can use it to play aggressively with the first build without being in too much of a disadvantage. You can use the second build for playing flex, and if you want to play passive, you can use the third one with both Nexus and Archangel barrel depending on your preference. And that way it'll help you grind to legendary and you'll be confident in using the same gun because you'll know how to handle it. A little side note, we highly recommend you to learn how to use another CQC weapon like the Fennec, the QQ9 or the SX9 because that's the one of the things that Grau can't do because we're limited in terms of gunsmithing. Thanks to Zebras for providing all this research, and if you want credibility, he's made it to top 10 on global Grau leaderboards. What's your favorite weapon for close range? Let us know down in the comments below. Have you ever tried weird ways to improve your game in COD Mobile? I got the video just for you. Click here to get weird. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.